Welcome to our 5 on 5. Pleased to be joined today by Todd Davidson, the CEO of Travel Oregon. Todd, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Craig, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, before we get into why you're here, tell us first off, CEO of Travel Oregon, what exactly do you do in the state?
Travel Oregon is the umbrella marketing arm for the state's travel and tourism industry. Our vision is a better life for all Oregonians through strong, sustainable local economies. We're all about driving demand for travel to and within the state of Oregon, but we're also about making sure that Oregon is properly positioned and preserved. That we have this chance to really take care of this place that we have the privilege of promoting as well. So we're not only involved in the marketing and sales side, but we're also very involved in the product development, community development, and destination development work as well.
Okay, so I imagine you do a lot of travel, of course, in your business, and you probably know all corners of the state. What are you doing here right now? Well,
I'm down here for the Travel Southern Oregon Annual Symposium. This is their 22nd year, record attendance, 150 plus people that were down there this year. And I've had the pleasure of being able to speak at we figure it's 20 or 21 of the 22 annual symposiums that they've had.
You've been in your position.
So it's always a great privilege and a pleasure to get down here and see our partners in Southern Oregon.
Okay, and what do you think about what Southern Oregon has to offer? What do we need to do to grow our tourism and economy?
How long do we have, Craig?
Unfortunately, not enough time, but bullet points if you will.
I mean, bullet points. I mean, look at the alignment with the way we're positioning Oregon in general. Look at the incredible natural beauty of this region. Look at the Rogue River, look at Crater Lake, look at the Oregon Caves, just look at the amenities that you have here from an outdoor recreation perspective. And then you can start delving into and broadening out to the culinary opportunities, the wineries and the craft breweries and what the chefs are doing in the restaurants with that locally grown produce. So you've got this beautiful mix of history and culture and outdoor recreation and culinary that really helps position Southern Oregon, not only on a national stage, but a global stage as well.
Very good. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Todd Davidson, the CEO of Travel Oregon. So we're talking before, Todd, about all that Oregon has to offer. Yeah. What about the broader economic impacts of all this tourism? The work doesn't end once people book the hotel and go home.
Right. In fact, it's so much broader than just hotel stays and restaurant meals. A lot of folks, when they think of the travel and tourism industry, that's what comes to mind. And those direct economic impacts are important. In 2016, tourism was an $11.3 billion industry and supported the development of 109,500 jobs for Oregonians across the state. But the impacts that are equally exciting for me are based out of some of the research that we did on how is a trip to Oregon changing consumer behavior. And what we found out is that as a result of having come to Oregon, experienced the great wines of Southern Oregon or the craft beers and the outdoor recreation and some of the products that are made here in Oregon, whether it's Columbia Sportswear and others, people go home changed. They're a little bit more Oregonian in their behavior once they return home. And so what we're finding is that nearly 60% of our visitors are telling us that they've purchased Oregon products after they've returned home. Oregon wine. They're looking for it on their wine list in their favorite restaurants, or looking for an Oregon craft beer at their favorite corner tavern, all as a result of them having been in Oregon. So those impacts are perhaps indirect, but equally important to what's happening.
Far beyond.
Far beyond.
It continues.
Exactly.
That's good to know. All right. And what about fire season? It's something we're very familiar with down here in Southern Oregon, and you work the whole state, so you know what happened in the gorge last year and what we see pretty much every year in the high desert area of the state. What are you telling businesses? Is that a topic of conversation for you guys this time of year?
It is. We've been talking about it for a while, and not just because last year was such a catastrophic forest fire year, but because we need to make sure we're getting the messages out to our visitors as they're planning their trips and while they're here in Oregon on their trips. So we've got a great network of local visitor information centers and our statewide welcome centers that help us get the word out. We're putting materials in our visitor guides to make sure we're letting people know where to go. We've got alerts that we can post on our websites to, if we are in forest fire season. But as importantly, it's about helping businesses recover from this catastrophic forest fire season. So what we're doing right now is we're in the field with a body of research to measure the actual economic impact of last year's forest fire season on the travel and tourism industry. We should have those results out and available within 30 days.
Okay, and as we talked about, right now, the snowpack, It's very dry. We're just hoping that it doesn't continue into this year.
Right. It's just, right now, it's just not looking good. You know, we're hearing that it's a potential drought year. And so we need folks to be careful, and that's part of the advice that we need to give our visitors when they're here is to be careful out there.
All right. Very good. Good to
All
see you.
right.
Thank you for
Craig,
making time.
thank
Pleasure.
you.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.